Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Colorado Rockies. We are at a little bit over the halfway mark. We are 89 games into the regular season, and it has been good and it's been bad. I'm not entirely sure if it's just the fact that we haven't quite had just the same amount of luck or if the league has just gotten better. But as you guys can see from the bar graph or the division graph in the middle of the screen, it has not been an easy going. We have just suddenly now come out of the second place, almost third place at some points, position in the National League West to retake the lead with a 6-game lead over the San Francisco Giants, and that is actually mostly because of the fact that the Giants have lost a couple of their major players. They have some injuries right now for Granaman. He's gone right now. Joe Jimenez was their number two starter. He's gone. Both of them are out for 7 months with torn labrums and torn flexor tendons. Jimenez with the torn labrum and Granaman with the torn flexor tendon. They also lost Logan Webb and Gavin Stone. They've lost a lot of their big name people, unfortunately. So the Giants, unfortunately, are going to, and you can see it from the bar graph, they are going down. They are not doing well. And while that doesn't really give us much reason for us to not have done so well at the beginning of the regular season here, it is going to at least probably guarantee us the National League West because of the fact that they have just so many injuries on their hands right now, which is kind of sad because they are supposed to be our biggest rival. At this point, I mean, our preview of them many videos ago about how their pitching staff would potentially rival any kind of offense that we could produce, or at least it would be scary, is still very true. That is still going to be a very big issue for us down the road. Now, our season has been unfortunately also filled with injuries and other things. We currently have just a couple right now. Carlson's out for the season. Lovato, of course, again, he's back in 3 to 4 weeks, but he's been out for most of the regular season. He got injured last playoffs, and then we're still waiting for Jackson Holiday. He just bruised his knee, a bone bruise on his knee. He'll be out for 3 months, unfortunately. So he will hopefully be back by the end of September, maybe. We'll have to see about that, but we should get Lovato back pretty soon. That'll give us at least one good bullpen arm returning to the team at this point, but those ratings could be going down a little bit. Again, this is a torn elbow ligament. It's this Tommy John surgery. There's a chance that you just don't develop as well as you used to after you come back from that. Now, otherwise, the team has done fairly well. We're definitely in the middle of the dog days of summer at this point, and so ratings are not as friendly right now. But the team as a whole, we've won 54 games. We're not doing as good as I would like us to do. But there's just been some we're relying upon people to produce more than what I really should be expecting them to produce. We've had some slight injuries. Again, we've had injuries to Bobby Witt Jr. Jaden Stroman went down for a little bit of time. Now we've lost Holiday. I think Riley Green went down for like a week, I think. Um, it's just been an interesting season to the point where we've been moving people around the infield like every single other week, it feels like. If we didn't have Bryce Terang playing shortstop, suddenly I think we had Quentin Young playing third base for a little bit of time when Bobby Witt Jr. went down. We've had some people playing that we're not expecting to be starting this season. And, the negative WAR for Quentin Young, Bryce Terang is barely positive WAR. Jaden Stroman's having a good season. He's got a 2 WAR season so far, but he just got back from injury, so he is going to have a lesser season than we were hoping for. But he should still be a very good player for us at shortstop. But it's been a tough season. It really has. You've got a .5 WAR season for Willie Castro. He ended up getting called up from AAA because of the injuries. He's still expected to perform as well as possible. Justin Novar actually got called up. He's now officially our full-time right fielder. Kevin Roberts Jr. was not performing well, and Justin Novar already having a 2.2 WAR season in right field. This will be his rookie season. I do not know if he will win Rookie of the Year. I don't see it. Otherwise, Riley Green on pace for a 5 WAR season. Kind of just need to see some of our players like Riley Green and Charlie Condon get hot again. We've had some people have little moments where they get hot and do really well. I think Jackson Merrill's done okay at some points. Condon had a couple of weeks where he hit like 6 home runs in 3 games, and it was looking pretty good. And now he's back down to like 40 home runs for the season. So there's just some inconsistencies with the offense. Thankfully, the pitching staff has been much better. Kunkel, Gilbert, Jacobs, and Dominguez all having really good seasons. They've all had full season starts at this point. Larry Kunkel continues to just be such a good pitcher. He's on pace for a new career high for a whole bunch of these categories: best WAR, best strikeouts, best ERA. He's hopefully going to hit that 20 win mark again. I think that's going to be his goal. He continues to develop his his ratings. He now has 92 out of 93 stuff at this point, so it keeps getting better and better at this point, which is kind of scary for a 24-year-old only costing us $12 million. But yeah, Larry Kunkel has definitely been a huge acquisition. And then Logan Gilbert is on pace for a 6.6 WAR season. He's definitely going to opt out if he continues to go that route and does pretty well. Jacobs has had an off and on season, but he is at least flirting with a almost 4 WAR season. That would be a career high for him. If he can get that, that'd be pretty cool. And I think that'd be about as much as I can expect from him at this point. Otherwise, Dominguez has done pretty well. He's on pace for a 4.5 WAR season. This would be his first, I would say, full with a asterisk season at this point. He kind of had a full season last year, but I think we kind of had a couple of starts he did not take last year. This is the first season he'll be having a full, complete season as a starting pitcher. The one person who has not done well is Crowell. We're still trying to see if he can develop back into a good starting pitcher who has quality start abilities. He's just struggling, unfortunately, and we're just kind of waiting for him to kind of turn the page and get better for us. Otherwise, Mercurius might be called upon to replace him pretty soon here. He's been at least serviceable as a relief pitcher at this point. Scott Cowles has been a little bit better. He's having a pretty good season. We are going to be missing. We are going to be missing that one relief pitcher, Carlson. Though that was our big one. He was supposed to be our, he's gotten a bit worse now, but he was supposed to be our pretty good relief pitcher who was going to hold things together in the middle of the middle of the bullpen. My apologies. Otherwise, Will Vest is doing phenomenal. I'm still expecting him to kind of end the season more closer to 40 saves at this point, but still glad we have him. He's definitely still going to be leaving at the end of the regular season. 20 million is too much for a 3-star closer. But he's doing well. Fiend is actually doing well. He's actually having a 1 WAR season. He's actually eating a lot of innings and doing a really good job as kind of just whatever we need him to be able to do. And his development is kind of coming back. I don't want to make any like major assumptions about how he's developing because he's not really that much better when you look at his AAA ratings, but he's at least being a productive member of our bullpen and our staff. There are some people down here in the bottom that we might be looking to get rid of, and that could be a reason for why we're just kind of struggling is that we're 4th in bullpen ERA. We're not winning a lot of late games. And at this point, if I go to our expanded standings, we are currently -3 on the Pythagorean difference. We are still 132 run difference, but 1-run games were 14 and 15. That should not be the case. That should be like 18 and 11. That's what it should be. So we should be probably another 4 games better, but we just have been basically we've been unlucky. We've been unlucky, and we're just going to do our best, just try to, do a better job of winning any extra inning games and 1-run games. And that's unfortunately where the bullpen kind of needs to come back together and work better at this point. So we might be looking at the All-Star break, or sorry, either at the All-Star break or the trade deadline to be able to acquire 1 or 2 bullpen arms. We'll see what we can do about all of that. Otherwise, we might be looking at our minor league associations and seeing what we have down there. We have some interesting arms down here. You got Ronaldo Gonzalez, who, while he didn't have great stuff, has some pretty good control and movement. He's actually supposed to be a starting pitcher down there at this point. But Tony Hernandez also down there. He should probably be getting called up here pretty soon. He would be an interesting replacement to that number 5 starting pitcher if we needed to be able to do that. Alex Saucedo continues to develop, at least somewhat. It just feels like as if we have a lot of people who have kind of med at this point is how I'll say it. Basically, a lot of our prospects have kind of just become meh prospects, and man, it's gonna be tough if that's kind of just how the system works. It's just not a whole lot of like really good prospects in our system anymore. We gotta like either restructure and rebuild or just hope and pray that somebody actually develops into something good. I mean, we've seen some good results from Michael Boudreau, or sorry, Boudet, I believe. He's having a really good season down in the Rockies in the A ball system right now. He's been called up to AA or to A+. Wow, I'm all over the place today. My apologies. He could be an interesting third base option for us down the road, most likely than not. But otherwise, I mean, we're still expecting to see a whole lot of development from Novar. He could still be, a very good replacement. He basically looks like Rada in a lot of senses. So he could still be a very good player for us. I think Mulan, I think Hunt, I mean, Harry Milan actually is now off of the top 100s after the update at this point, but he's still interesting. I think he's still pretty good. But the game now likes to see more like Chris Hunt. It still likes Cabins a little bit as well. I like Cabins still as well. So we have a couple of outfield prospects who could be pretty good. That'll be good if we're literally forced to trade Riley Green, or if we have problems with Jackson Merrill in center. There is a chance that Jackson Merrill might move over to left field or right field if we get a better fielding center fielder. That actually would be Novar, I think. If we can get him maybe some defense, maybe we'll give both Novar and Merrill defense and center field training in the offseason. If either of them sticks, then we'll give them center field full time, and that might end up being how we do it. Is that we just end up looking at the options and seeing who's the best defending center fielder, and then just sticking them out there at this point. So regardless, we're doing okay. We're not doing bad. We are currently first place in the National League West, up by 6 games, mostly because the Giants are just falling apart right now. But we're not the best team in baseball. That, of course, is the Chicago White Sox, who are having just a really good season. Their offense is clicking. Their pitching staff is amazing. I don't know why they're so good. I think it's mostly just their starters have been really, really quality, like really good this season at this point. Um, but there's a chance that they could fall back and the Tigers or the Twins could probably be able to move up in that system if they absolutely had to. But at this point, it is going very well. I'm very happy about how it's going at this point, even though it was kind of shaky at the beginning. We're still looking to see what kind of result we can get for the second half of the regular season. We're kind of just looking out there and just trying to figure out, like, okay, what's working, what's not working, what do we need to fix, what do we need to work on at this point. And as all of these young kids come up through the system, we just got to start thinking about, okay, where is our next prospect list coming from at this point? Where are we going to be moving towards? Because we can continue to get veterans like Logan Gilbert. We can continue to get people who are like Bryce Terang, who's now leading in steals for the season, so he's doing okay. We can work with our team, what we have, but sooner or later we do have to get younger. We do have to get the new squad up and into the system. So sooner or later, we have to start making some moves. And our minor league system is really not set to be able to give us a contending team if multiple players end up leaving. Now, again, we are pretty much set to go for the rest of the next, 7 years. So we're not terrible. I mean, we're going to lose Vest and Gilbert at the end of the season, most likely than not. We'll lose some other minor league players and some other stuff like that. But our main squad is going to retain, and we'll be okay with kind of whatever we can throw in as replacements. But it's gonna require some work and then require some luck. I really do need to get like one or two really good international discoveries. We haven't had one good discovery since Richard Dominguez, which is kind of sad. I don't know why we haven't had really good international discoveries. We should have gotten at least like two or three more by now. I don't think Stroman was an international discovery. I think he was a signed player. Yeah, $2.1 million bonus out of the minor league contract. That was back in 2025 because we actually drafted him. My apologies. He was drafted. He wasn't even discovered. So I mean, our discoveries are kind of mixed, but they haven't been that good. If we go to our decision history, our only international free agent signing has literally been Richard Dominguez. And that was a discovery. That wasn't even like a signing. That was us just getting him for free. So we have not had very good international developments at this point, especially discoveries. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe that can give us something good here in the next season or two, because we're kind of relying on that. And we've been putting a lot of money towards our scout to be able to find international discoveries, and nothing has happened from that. So at this point, either I need to audible and start looking at like minor league scouting and the amateurs and just trying to, get the best draft we possibly can. But we're already pretty good on the draft too. Speaking of which, let's talk about our draft, shall we? That's a great segue. I didn't even try to do that. Regardless, we officially did get through our first-year player draft. These are the kids that we have signed for the season. Mike Collins with our first overall selection, 32nd overall selection in the draft, but our first-round selection here. Mike Collins is an interesting middle infielder, might be more geared towards second base down the road, but we liked his bat profile and his defense. Probably will develop into a 3-star prospect down the road, let's just be honest. But high school senior out of, I believe, Ohio and South Carolina, I believe was the school he was going to go towards. But either way, he joins our school, or our school, our minor league system at this point. He should be pretty good for us. Jerry Peppard is going to be our second round, or sorry, our supplemental first round pickup. So this is an interesting 3-star pitcher. We think we can develop him in that control, get him up to a 4-star potentially down the road. He's durable on the injury proneness, not bad on the personality. And again, one, two, three, four, five, 6 pitches, and one of them being a knuckle curve. So interesting again. Another knuckle curve pitcher. We'll see if we can develop this one or not. And this would be an interesting starter option down the road. Another high schooler, so it's hit or miss, but we kind of like what we saw, and we wanted to go for it, and this was a good option for us. Michael Eastman is our our second round selection. I'm going to get that supplemental rounds mixed up all the time. This is a bullpen person, and we went ahead and decided that this is actually pretty good. He's got some really good movement control, 2 good pitches. I'm actually okay with this. We really could use some good bullpen arms. So Michael Eastman, left-handed throwing bullpen pitcher, comes into our system. Hopefully he'll do pretty well for us at this point, moving into the regular season and to his first full season in the minors. Jeremy Wenzloff was our third round selection. This is a corner outfielder, good contact bat. He was a 4-year high school senior out of, I believe, Georgia at this point. And no speed, and the personality is a little bit rough, but we'll see if we can develop that bat. He kind of looks and feels a little bit similar to like Mulan, I believe. Maybe not Cavins. Cavins is more balanced at this point, but I love the bat, love the avoid Ks. We'll try to develop that, try to get that up to the system and see what we can do. Lee Robinson was our fourth round selection, another outfielder at this point. Pretty decent, balanced bat. This is more like Cavins right here. Some balanced bat, some good speed, and some decent enough defense. He can probably play the corner outfield pretty well. Chris Urek, that's Yurek, is going to be our fifth round selection, another high school starting pitcher at this point. Definitely needs some more work. Again, the draft class, I thought it was better, but by the time he got to the 5th and 6th round, it was just kind of weak, unfortunately. So, regretfully, not the best, the draft pool, unfortunately, that we were looking at. So, I'm glad we only had one supplemental draft pick because we would not have gotten much better results, unfortunately. Justin Donald's already signed. He's a bullpen arm for us. He's already somewhat developed 3 years out of college at this point, from Texas Tech at this point. Fastball, curveball, some good movement, good stuff. The control needs some work, but that's basically how it always is for relief pitchers. He moves into the system with some development already done. Hopefully, he can get through the system pretty quickly and might be able to give us a really good option for us moving forwards to be able to, well, we'll see, to be able to do some stuff basically. Moving on, Vince Jackson is going to be a starting pitching prospect. As you guys can see, we're in the 7th round. This is already a 2-star pitcher, potentially. Now, it could get better. Again, we were looking at most of these. By this point, we were looking at it based on the idea that, okay, for AAA, he's 3.5 stars. That would be close enough to big league caliber that it would actually fly at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the rest of our prospects here. But Vince Jackson goes in the 7th round. He needs a lot of development. A lot of the rest of these players are going to need tons of development. 3-year high schooler, and we're hoping that the left-handed batting, right-handed throwing, 94 to 96 mile per hour thrower already, 18 years of age, 6'5", might be able to develop into something good, but that personality, low leadership, low intelligence, not a good sign. But we'll see what we can do. Travis Garth is the next person we've signed in the 8th round. This is a more balanced bat catcher at this point. This will help replace some of the catchers that are kind of falling out of our system because, of course, we draft a lot of catchers and some work and some don't. But getting rid of people like Drew Romo and, all of our backup catchers that we had been using for years and years and years, we kind of need to continue to have an influx of 1 or 2 catchers every single draft just in case. And they're always going here in the middle of the rounds and are pretty decent. And if they get a little bit of that bat developed, the defense almost always develops. So it's always pretty good to get these catchers who have some decent bat profiles. This will go alongside of our international free agency signing person that we picked up, the international signage. I don't remember, Guadalajara, I believe, our catching prospect we picked up in the last episode. This should actually be a good comparison to that person. They're very close and similar in profile, so maybe they'll both develop and become our new catchers for the distance down the road. John Benton was another person picked up here in the 9th round. He is a corner outfielder. The bat was pretty good, was pretty balanced, not too many weaknesses. The speed's a little bit there, but definitely needs a whole lot of development and a lot of more defense, unfortunately. So we'll see what we can do with John Benton. Justin Pearson signed in the 10th round. He is a infielder, second base, third base potentially. Might have to see about putting him at first base if he can't play the infield positions that well. Bats left, throws right. Got some good pop, but again, this is based off of AAA ratings, so don't get too confused. They're not all this good. But just felt like as if he was probably the best option at this point. He's durable on the injuriness. He's a leader. Personality class might be captain if we get enough from him at this point. But hopefully he develops. Hopefully he does well. I might already tell him to go play first base because that's basically going to be his only option is to play first and just try to be a good enough first baseman at this point. Jorge Tellez is going to be our 11th round pickup. This is a 6-pitch pitcher. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Sinker, cutter, changeup, curveball, slider, fastball for your high schooler. We're hoping to develop his movement a lot. He needs to get a lot more on that and then continue to keep the control and stuff going upwards. Otherwise, it's not terrible. He has a chance, but it is a bit of a long shot, as are most of these players. 12th round went to Austin Nixon. This is another corner outfielder. Could develop that defense a little bit better. Very good personality with the high leadership, work ethic, intelligence, and low financial ambition, so he's not greedy. This would be a good person to develop and see if he becomes something special. This would be a person that I'd love to see getting a little bit of attention in the off-season programs, basically. This is a good one right here. Joe Cast was the next pickup in the 13th round. Decent enough defensive profile, good personality, and the bat was balanced, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the balanced bat for a catcher. Again, the defense will develop. You can even increase that if you do a little bit of program work on it. If the bat gets even close to this is actually a decent enough catcher to be able to play in the majors, or potentially it's just trade bait. But again, this looks very similar to, I think it's McPherson. I think McPherson is better than this, but this is kind of close to McPherson, I believe. Yeah, McPherson kind of has the same thing, but better defense. So if that's what you're looking for, you can get that in someone like Cast here, and that's not too bad. All right, our next person on the list was, of course, our 13. We have 14 next. Hold on, I got to go back to the list here. 14th round was Jason Osborne. This is a corner outfielder once again. We haven't really found a whole lot of good infielders, unfortunately. So Jason Osborne was our selection here. Decent enough bat, good speed, decent enough fielding. Could develop, has a okay personality, I believe. We'll see what can happen with him. Two-year high schooler at this point, lefty, so he's going to throw left-handed. So not sure if he'll stick in left field or in center field. Probably going to be in left field for his career. Hopefully the bat develops. Wouldn't be too bad. 18-year-old, 6'2". Elias Garcia got drafted next in the 15th round. This is a infielder slash outfielder, probably a first baseman for life, unfortunately. Good contact bat. Does not have very good batting skills outside of that, unfortunately. So definitely going to be a one-tool kind of player. We're going to see if he can develop. He was just the best that was left at this point, and it's just going to get worse and worse, folks. I'm so sorry. All right, Cameron Brennan ended up getting drafted. We just thought that at this point there was just nothing left, and so we went ahead and just drafted him. Our scout recommended him, and I was like, fine, maybe you see something that I don't. But the 21-year-old out of college, somewhat developed already, actually. If he could actually hit those batting numbers, even though this is AAA ratings based, if he could even hit some of these numbers and get a little bit more, that actually would be okay. And I don't know if we'd be able to throw him at catcher. I think he'd have to end up going probably to the outfield, which he's actually better at, or potentially going to first base just because he's 6'4". That would actually make him a pretty decent first baseman. So unfortunately for us, Brennan's a little bit tough to really see much of a future with, but you know what? Maybe I can make it work. I am the OOTP guru. Rob Becker was our 19th round selection, a middle infielder with a little bit of good defense. The bat's a little bit shaky, but we can work on that a little bit and see what we can get out of him. By AAA standards, he was a little bit better, so we were like, okay, that's a shot we can take at least, and we'll see what we can do with the defense. Maybe we can improve it. Maybe he can go play outfield. I know he's got some okay-ish outfield ratings. Not that great, but again, it's the 19th round, but he's durable. It doesn't have bad personality. In fact, he has high adaptability, so he could actually move between positions pretty quickly. So it's not a bad one. It could be just depth filling at this point for Rob, but you know what? He can stay here as long as he wants to. He's a switch hitting, right-handed throwing middle infielder and outfielder at this point. And our last selection was Chris Davis. This was a first baseman who's 6'4". He's got a little bit of pop, and I just did it for the name and the memes, basically. We picked up Chris Davis, but this is not the same Chris Davis that everyone's going to be expecting. But high work ethic, low financial ambition, probably an okay personality class. And we'll be seeing how Chris Davis performs in the minors and seeing if he can do anything about it and his development. So That's it, guys. That was our first year player draft. Our team is doing really well. I'm expecting us to be able to at least finish first in the National League West. I'm still hoping that a lot of our batters will get back over 300 for the regular season. I'm still expecting better things from Condone and especially from Green. And Stroman needs to pick it back up. He was doing really well before he got injured. But otherwise, we're doing well. Kunkel's carrying us. Gilbert's carrying us. We're having some pretty good results from our main core players. And it's going well. It could be better, but it's going well. So I'll see you all at the end of the season. And hopefully it's number 4. Hopefully, it's number 4.